Hello, and welcome back to the ministry. And today we're talking about maturity versus insecurity. We are at the precipice of one of the biggest breakthrough seasons that a lot of us have seen. Not everybody's here, but for the ones that know, you know. Because the Lord's been showing you, telling you, giving you wisdom, giving you guidance, giving you direction. He's been downloading what he needed for you to do and have prepared. And you've just been taking the steps in order to prepare to walk into those things. But as we prepare to cross over into that, you're going to be faced with maturity or insecurity. It's similar to what I was talking about in the last video. What are you going to do with the power of the position in which you're being prepared for? You're at the finish line. You're about to walk into this thing. But when God, let's say God wants to give you fame, he's going to give you the influence. The followers are going to come. Now you have 175,000 followers. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? Are you going to be secure or immature? You're going to deal with insecurities. You're going to have imposter syndrome. You're going to have the anxiety. I have people that I need to lead. I need to make sure I'm leading from the best position possible. But that comes from authenticity. Are you being authentically true with who you are? Let me show you this. Immaturity versus insecurity. Insecurity will make you question yourself and the other person's motives, making it unfathomable stories that aren't true so that you can make excuses out of fear for whatever happens and what has happened in your past that hurt you from before. But to be immature, you're not mentally evolved enough to handle the mature adult situations with dignity and grace instead of lashing out. These places, we've heard the saying before, and I'm going to say it again. You can get to a location, you can get to a place, but your character got to keep you for what got you there. You can't be insecure and you cannot be immature. Because you're going to be in rooms and realms with people and places in certain situations. Maybe you ain't going into a level of fame where you're going to have lights on you. Maybe you're just going to be right here. Maybe you're going to be in a level where you're coaching other people and people are listening to your voice. Maybe you're going to be a speaker. When I started this journey, all I really wanted to be was a speaker. I wanted to use my voice to speak. But if I'm going to speak, where am I going to put my voice to speak? Am I just going to be this? Am I just going to be... But the Lord has shown me all of the talents and the things that I possess as a creative. And it's like, how do I position myself to be that? And God has put me in a position where he's shown me certain people. And it's like, the people he has shown me for the industry that he's sending me to as a Christian would actually vex my spirit. Let me just be honest with you. When the Lord started showing me these people, I was like, Lord, now I know you crazy for showing me these people. I am a Christian woman. I cannot go out into the world acting like that. And God's like, I don't want you to act like them. I want you to take a page from their book and understand how they built. I was listening to a young woman yesterday who's a Christian who actually has family members in the entertainment industry. And she said She looks at people that are multimillionaires and billionaires from the world. Now, granted, she also looks at people that are Christian multimillionaires and billionaires. We are supposed to learn and then go into the world. We learn, we understand, we take the meat and spit out the bones. We know what's wrong as a Christian and what not to do. We know what it is to be a Christian. We know that if we're going into these areas and arenas, we can't sit up there and do what they did. We know we can't walk around dressed any kind of way. We know we can't walk around saying any kind of thing. We know we can't go out here and promote any kind of product if we're going to hold our value as a Christian believer. We know this. Don't get out there and get stupid. Does it not say in the world that I am sending you out? Don't become friends with them. Don't become. Yes, the Lord will send you out. And He will bring people into your life. And maybe you will. But the ones that He wants you to become associated with, it's for, what did I say the other day? It's either for a reason or for a season. You're supposed to get what you're supposed to get from this person and either let them go because the Lord has said release them, or they are supposed to be an asset to you. And the ones that I know He's going to send, the ones that are going to be assets, 9 times out of 10 already have the Christian value system under their skin. They just may not let everybody else know it. But they got a level of God in them that allots them the ability that Lord can use them. It may not be visual to everybody else. There are people that the Lord has shown me that are people that are going to be assets to me. And I went back and I looked, and if I wasn't discerning, I wouldn't be able to see our Christian value. And they're right smack dab in the middle of that world. There are people that are having Christian conversations right up in those same places, and they looking for people that are Christian. They're looking for them. And what will happen is when God says go, those people are the ones that are going to tap you. Those people are the ones that are going to connect to the people that the Lord connects you to and be like, hey, come on, let's talk. But you're so busy that you be so Christian religious that you can't even see it. Because you're insecure. Let's just be honest about it. As a Christian, we some of the most insecure people, let's be real, and immature people that I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking about the ones that call themselves to be real Christians that want to scream at the top of their lungs at a person that goes out into the world. Immaturity much? Or are they immature because they honestly wanted to do that, but because they weren't willing to make the steps in the direction to do that because they didn't want to be persecuted and ridiculed, they gonna get mad at you because you did. When underlyingly they wanted to, but they didn't go the direction that you did and went through the warfare and the trials that you did in order to get there. Because they operated in a level of immaturity that, they couldn't handle that position. I remember I was looking the other day, I mentioned this in a video not too long ago, where I was talking about this young woman. And the young woman, she had the opportunity. She was coming up at the same time Rihanna was coming up. When I say they were in the same label mates, that they literally were right there together. And the label had the opportunity to take her or take Rihanna. But because Rihanna was willing to do what they wanted her to do, they took her. But the other one, she had the voice. She was up there with people to the likes of Beyonce level. And because of that, she had the ability to take a position in that place that would have catapulted her career. But it could have jeopardized the direction. But the fact of the matter is, when she didn't get it, she ended up, in her latter years, ending up on Real Housewives. And she was still crying about having not gotten that one position. But she was arrogant and immature because of the fact that she had even gotten that close. And everybody was yelling at her because of the fact that you ain't there no more. And she's walking around drinking. She's walking around doing all of this. But you see in those actions that, oh, look, this is the environment. You had the opportunity to be on this show, and look what you do to yourself. You out here acting a fool. Maybe that's why you didn't get the fame then, because you would have eventually ended up like you are right now. Being immature, prideful, all kinds of stuff. And had you gotten the fame and had you gotten up there, you wouldn't have kept it because you would have been too haughty, too prideful, all up in the lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, pride of life. Because you were immature and insecure. She could have turned her career around, but she wanted that spotlight and couldn't live down that spotlight. Haunted by that spotlight, which really wasn't a spotlight that a lot of people would want to be in. Is it worth giving your soul? For the immaturity level that you have. Because if you're immature, we see now that she's immature, she wouldn't have had the character to keep her there. She probably would have lost it after a few albums because of the pressure to be standing there. You get an opportunity to be in a room. I was watching a TV show last night, and the character was supposed to be a painter in the 80s. And we're reminded of a moment in time in which one of the top artists of the time frame literally wanted to work with her. The opportunity and the door presented itself, and she chose not to take it. Some of us are so insecure about ourselves that our false humility prevents us from walking into and or sabotaging the very things that the Lord wants to give us. It was right in front of her face and she did not take it. Where she could have been and where she should have been years. Years. It had an effect. Are you going to miss out on opportunities because of your immaturity and insecurity because you don't know how you're going to do it? This is not us. God doesn't give us assignments that we can perform ourselves. What do you think this is? God gives us assignments that we have to walk with him, because if we choose not to, we're going to get up there and at a specific point, he's going to say, all right, I'm going to show you how you're going to make a fool of yourself right now, because I'm not going to be with you when you do this. And all of the fame and all of the fortune and all of the stuff that we thought that we created for ourselves is going to collapse, because we live in a cancel culture that'll cancel you in a minute. But if you walk with God, they can't cancel you. We see people like Dave Chappelle out there. We've seen people that go out there and just start talking and exposing certain things. And they immediately want to cut them down and shut them down and prevent them from getting their money and all that kind of stuff, because they don't. But if you're walking with God, this man is worth millions and billions of dollars. And he doesn't operate on their circuit nor their time frame. People can sit up there and try to cancel him all day. This is what God wants to do for us, but we too scared to go out into the secular industries and secular worlds and secular things, because it's like, ooh. I was listening to somebody read the scripture the other day. It was talking about the fact that God will desire to send you out. Will you go? But a lot of us are insubordinate in the fact that we're so insecure in our own will, our own ability, our own issues, that we feel like, well, if I'm Christian, I can't go in there, because if I go in there, what happens if this? What happens if that? How do I prevent myself from? And God's like, I need you to trust me, and I'm going to go with you. It's like a parent saying, I'm going to take you into this place that you don't really want to go into, but I need you to take my hand and keep coming with me, because it's going to be all right on the other side as long as you walk with me. I remember, since this is the time that we're in, I remember I was a kid and we're in October. My mother actually did take me for Halloween to the haunted house. I remember the first time she took me to the haunted house, there was this little boy that was outside. We were in the line to go into the haunted house. The boy said, "Grrr," at me, and I started screaming, and she had to drag me back to the car because I would not go in. I was like, he scared me, I'm done. A few years later, I said, I think I can do it this time. Went in. We got about 2 sections into the haunted house, and they had to take me out the side door. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was like, we're not doing this. Why did I use that as an example? Because of the fact that God makes us his children. And then he says, I need to take you into these dark places. And I need you to trust me that when you get into this dark place, did it not say in Psalms, I will have a rod and thy staff? Did it not say that you are supposed to be the light in the earth? You're going to go into dark places that you got to light up. Sometimes the only light there is you. And you can't be insecure and screaming at the top of your lungs, trying to get out the side door. I don't want to be here. The season I just came out of a couple years back. I was in for 3 years. For all intents and purposes, I should have jumped and ran out of there the same way I did as a child. But you know what? Because I was with God, I said, if you brought me here, I'm going to stay here until you say I can leave. He released me from that season August 7th. Actually, it was August 5th, 2021. And I was released to come back. But he's about to release me into my next season. And yeah, it may look like that haunted house. It may look scary. It may be full of witchcraft. It may be full of things that any normal Christian be like, nah, 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 nah. There are demons over there. There's celebrities that worship God knows what. Nah, 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 nah. God's had people come up to you and they acted like, oh, I'm going to snap at you. I'm going to provoke you. I'm going to do this to you. And just like that kid that roared at me when I was 10 years old, this is what you feel like. You feel like, okay, I want to run. I don't need that. This person just snapped at me. This person tried to intimidate me. This person did all of this to me. I'm good. I ain't going to deal with that. Then you had to go through another season where God's saying, okay, I'm going to get you in this time. But I need you to cross into that place where it's dark. I need you to cross into that place where it's scary. I need to cross into that place where the ghosts and the goblins and the people dressed up in costumes, because that's all they are. People dressed up in costumes. The people that are coming at you, and the costume is the tormenting spirits and the demons that they're dealing with. And you have to realize, you have to discern the people, and you have to discern the costume in which they're walking in. And you can't be running around scared and screaming at the top of your lungs when they jump out at you. Or they start acting a fool because they have narcissistic spirits on them and they realize that you discerned their schemes. You can't be screaming and running out the side door. This message done went in a completely different direction. But the point being, you can't be running around here insecure and popping off at the mouth because you in a situation that is dark, as dismal, you feel uncomfortable, and these people coming at you, but you sitting up there, you want to defend yourself. Or for my ladies, hey ladies, how you feeling? How you doing over here? Y'all sitting up there waiting on your goddamn spouse. But y'all dated a man previously, and the guy that you dated, he had charisma. He was nice. He was your type. He was the complexion that you like. He was all of this. For the level of the lifestyle that you were in at that particular point in time. He smiled, he laughed, he was everything that you desired. And that's the one that cheated on you. That's the one that lied to you. That's the one that made you feel the most insecure about yourself, that you to this day may still be fighting residuals of insecurity because of that relationship. And God's saying, let me show you who your goddamn spouse is. And then he starts to show you the characteristics that man carries in. Oh, wait a minute. He got characteristics a lot like my ass. How do I? And then his lifestyle is. I don't know. I don't want that. And God's saying he's not going to do what the other one did. I know, because he's mine. The other one wasn't. Now, are you going to do what I say and you're going to walk into this, or are you going to be disobedient? Then when the Lord does send the person and you have the first opportunity where the Lord is testing you, where this particular person has the opportunity to talk to somebody else, and you're standing there and you're like, are you going to be scrutinizing? Are you going to be loud? Are you going to be immature? Are you going to show your colors as being something that you are, something that you're not? Because your old sabotaging feelings from the previous relationship is screaming at you to make a scene? Or are you going to show this person they can trust you? Are you going to show this person that you trust them by letting them handle the situation? Are you going to be immature or are you going to be secure? Because guess what? That person could probably take you into certain rooms and it be an element that you get opportunities that you would not have gotten before. But if you can't handle the little stuff, you're going to miss out on the big stuff. And I ain't even talking about somebody that's taking you into celebrity status level stuff. Maybe they're just a business person and they're taking you to the business meeting. I used to go to business meetings in a local place here in Baltimore all the time years ago. Matter of factly, if I message any of the people that I was working with back then and say, hey, how you doing? I'm in town. They probably would say, if you want to come by, come through. The reason I don't is they deal with a lot of business practices that are not Christian. And that's one of the reasons why I backed away. But if the Lord said, I need you to go back, guess what? And maybe some of y'all, he might be taking you into situations where maybe he's giving you a relational connection that is a businessman or a person that's in real estate that can take you to a business gathering, a conference, and you sitting there saying to yourself, I don't know if I want. But that person is like, I could take you into this and introduce you to folks. And I used to always pray before I walked into those events by myself, Lord, allow the people that are supposed to come to me. And he, lie to you not, he would send them. They would come right to where I was standing at. And they would introduce themselves to me. I'm like, let me take your card. Let me take your card. Let me take your card. Because you're the one I'm going to call back. When I would have conferences that I needed to go to, business events, and maybe the people that he's aligning you with in this season, it's like you made it through the lower level, and I know you thought that was the hotness. Well, I'm about to send you now because I'm about to put my name on your name, and I'm about to make you famous for the things you do in private. The people I'm going to send you next to now, ha ha ha. But if you're immature, that you can't carry it, that when you walk through that dark season, you ain't learned nothing, and now that the Lord is trying to open a door, that if your character cannot keep you, remember in Cinderella, that when Cinderella got to the ball, the fairy godmother didn't go in there and walk in with her and walk her up to the prince and still hang out with her while she was standing there with the prince. No, she said, I need to leave you right here. This is as far as I go. You got enough that I can't go in the room with you. But you have enough on you that you can do this by yourself. And Enchanted, she had to walk into that party by herself. She had to get ready by herself to be in that place that night. Some of us have had to get ready and prepare in places and spaces in which we would not have preferred to be in. But God's saying, I'm about to present you. You've been in the waiting room. Your waiting room is over now. So I'm going to present you before great men. And man shall give unto thy bosom, pressed down, shaking together, and running over, the favor of God. You are your husband's favor. When your husband shows up, he's going to need what's on you. And your character can't be operating in insecurity and immaturity because you're sitting there saying to myself, oh, who he talking to? Who that person? Or better yet, you're in a situation where you see, because you might be in a room with some people that have certain types of status, and you might get confirmation to some stuff that you had heard as gossip externally before you walked into these rooms, and now you seeing it. And now you got to keep a straight face and not look like, oh my God, they do that? Oh my God, it really was true that they do that there. And oh my God. Maturity says you gonna keep your face straight and you're still gonna smile and be like, you might go home and talk to your spouse, or you might go home and talk to the person that the Lord has assigned you to be your helpmate or your destiny helper, and say, how do I deal with this? Because they've been there long enough to be able to. But you talk to the people that the Lord has assigned you, but you don't act in insecurity and go blabbing that out to everybody else. You act in maturity, and you're like, okay, how do I handle being in this situation? Because for me, the thing that I've always dealt with is I'm like, my face will give you the most readest. I'll smile, but my face is probably saying 15 different expressions as I see certain things that are happening around me. Not because I want to, it's just I have an expressionary face, and I'm just like... So my insecurity lies on my face. I'm like, my face tells the truth all the time. How do you deal with that? How do you prepare for that? What are you doing in preparation for these types of things? Because some of us are about to get positioned. When the door opens, what you gonna do? When the door opens, what you gonna do? We at the finish line. I just said that in my last message. What you gonna do? Figure it out now. Because we're at the door. We're at the precipice. We're at the positioning of a miracle. I got blessed the other day that I was talking through email with the apostle that I follow. And he made the point of saying, you're at the precipice of a miracle. This is where we are. Stop acting like we're not. Stop acting like we're not at the finish line, because it makes you feel more secure to feel like, okay, it's going to take another year. It's going to take another 6 months. It's going to take... What if it's tomorrow? What are you going to do? What if it's tomorrow? What are you going to do? And I'm going to leave you with this. There was a young woman that I looked at her video that she was talking about. She was waiting for her God-ordained spouse to reconnect with her. She made an oath to the Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I will do it. The man called her phone within 5 minutes. Not only did he call her, when he was done talking with her, he called her right back to tell her, your address was what again? And she said, oh, my address is XYZ. He said, oh, I'm about 5 minutes from your house. I'll be there in a minute. What are you going to do when they show up? Are you ready? If you're not ready, I suggest you sit down and get ready. Do a fast and figure it out. Make sure that you got all your points and the things that you need to take care of, because it's time and it's happening. Get ready. Get ready. This is Taj McCameron for Love, Faith, Peace, and Blessings Ministries. And this is my warning to you. Make a list, prepare, and get ready, because it's about to go down.